Citizens and neighbors and staff of Payson City, it's time to call to order the Payson City Council meeting of May 18th, 2022. Before we start, we recognize that Mayor Wright is not with us this evening and that we need to appoint a mayor pro tem for just this evening. So I will accept a motion.
I'll make a motion that we appoint Robert Proscard as our mayor pro tem for just tonight.
Thank you.
I'll second that Bob Proscard can be our mayor pro tem.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
3-1.
I lost. Thank you. I have asked Carl Timon if he would give us an opening prayer, and then Teresa Hyatt will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Our dear Father in heaven, we're grateful for this day and this opportunity to meet together as a city council and citizens to discuss the affairs of the city. We're grateful to be involved here in Payson City, to have the beauty that's around us. We're grateful for the friendships and the community that we do have. We pray that we may be able to instill unity among each other and strive for common goals. And we pray that we may have a clear mind and that our thought processes will be well tonight, that we may make the best decisions we can, and that we can support one another in our futures. And this we pray and ask thee for in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I think I failed to state the time. It was 2 minutes after 6 when we began. Our consent agenda this evening is item B. We have the approval of the minutes of the May 4th City Council session. We have a resolution of the Springs at Spring Lake annexation agreement. We have a resolution of the Villages at Arrowhead Park Plat L development agreement. Is there any discussion on any of those? Jill?
Mayor Pro Tem and City Council, staff just has a minor request with the Arrowhead Park Plat L development agreement. We continue to work with the development team on refining the development to be consistent with your approval. Even as of 3 hours ago, we were meeting with the development team to refine some of the things in the development agreement. So staff would request that you approve the consent agenda tonight, including that development agreement, but to provide staff with the flexibility to continue to refine that document before the document is recorded. If there's any substantive changes, then what was included in your packet, we would bring that back to you, but we believe that continuing to work with that development team will be able to refine it in a way that will be consistent. And there won't be a need to bring it back, but if there are substantive changes, we will. We talked to the development team and the builder for this project about this course of action, and they're supportive of that. So we are requesting that the consent agenda be approved, including that agreement.
Thank you, Jill. With that said, I would entertain a motion.
Okay, I will make a motion that we approve the consent agenda, including the approval of the May 4th City Council minutes, Spring Lake annexation agreement, as well as Villages at Arrowhead Park Plat L development agreement, as it stands, with the flexibility that staff has the option to make those changes and represent it to us if things are changed.
Is that good, Jill? We have a motion.
I second it.
Have a second. All in favor?
Aye. Do a roll call vote.
This is a roll call vote. I'm sorry. I didn't see that. Roll call vote. I'll start with
Aye. Yes.
Councilwoman Teresa. Brett.
Aye.
Linda.
Yes.
And I don't think I vote, do I? That's that's a yes. All right, moving on to item C. We have the Mayor's Youth Recognition Awards tonight. Is Kim here? Not seeing Kim here. We'll move on. We have the Chamber Business of the Month. Rhonda, would you like to come up?
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to be here with you. Thank you. So just a quick report on our April Business of the Month with Simple Nutrition, just right down around the corner. And they have just been so successful that they've opened a second location. So they've done well in our community. So thank you. Some updates from the chamber. We wanted to let you know that we are working closely with the city to assemble welcome gift baskets for the new businesses that are coming in. We're scheduling and are quite busy with our ribbon cuttings. Those are ongoing, but we're also going to start letting the city employees know when those are happening, just so that they can participate if they are able, and just so that you're aware of what's happening with those ribbon cuttings. And then one big exciting event that we've got going on is our hometown market. I've got a few flyers here and I'll set them on the back table there. It's going to be in Santaquin this year, and they're doing it from June until September. And so they've worked out some good deals for businesses to be able to participate in that. Great way for us to come together and share the industry that we have, and also provide services for our community and needs that we have. So we appreciate your ongoing support. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions for me?
I have one. Are we missing out the opportunity as council and mayor? I'm not sure. I'm asking the question on these ribbon cuttings of new businesses.
The ones that I have been to, the mayor has been to.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the last two I went to were the parish.
And we were invited to that one.
The mayor was there, and then we were just over at the new barber shop. The barber shop right by Joe's Coffee. Yeah, and the mayor was at those.
Is there a way that the rest of the council could receive an invite?
We sure can. That's
we
easy.
would, if available, we'd love to be.
Okay, that's kind of how we do it, is we just have a little texting strand, and whoever can come, we say we'll be there, and we round up enough and celebrate for a little bit. And
Yeah, we've never been made aware.
okay, we will do that. That's a great thing to take back. We'll make sure that happens. Thank you.
Thank you.
All
Appreciate
right.
all the chamber's doing. Item 3, we have a public forum where anyone can speak on items that are not on the agenda. If you would come forward and state your name and kind of limit your time to 3 minutes. We're pressed tonight for time. And if something is already, an item has already been discussed, if there's nothing new and pertinent, move on. Anybody would like to come forward for the public forum? Moving on to staff and council reports. Staff, any staff that would like to come up and present before the council?
Mayor Pro Tem and council and public, just a few things. We've pretty much got most all of our youth baseball and softball going. Hosted a nice track meet yesterday as well with some cities from out, the surrounding cities coming. Our next push is the pool. We did have our inspection Friday afternoon, and there's a few minor items to be working on, and so we'll be working on those. We will have a junior high triathlon Friday afternoon this week, and then next week we'll do some soft openings with some elementary schools on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then Memorial Weekend we're planning to open. Robbie Gard has been working really hard with Daniel with facilities, and we appreciate their support as well. He's been working hard getting the lifeguards trained and all the staff trained for that. It's quite the undertaking. Also, I want to thank the golf course, Tracy and Greg Mattson, for helping us host the Central Utah Recreation and Parks Association golf tournament. It was a scholarship tournament this year. We had 32 teams today. It was excellent, and we appreciate that. And just a comment at the lunch after, easily 20 people came up complimenting the course and the play and really loved the venue. So we appreciate the support. Thanks.
Thanks, Carl.
Metro Pro Temp and Council, I just wanted to quickly share with you some really interesting information that last Thursday, Brian Kula asked us to get some information on numbers of housing units that have either been approved in the process or are slated to come before you in the near future. So Jill and Marty from our staff did a quick perfunctory review, and I think this is really interesting information. So approved housing units in Payson City since 2019, 1,205 have been approved in that time. Those that you'll probably be seeing a little bit later this year, 2,564. So in the intervening 3.5 years that have gone by, we have the potential to add 3,769 new households to our city of Payson. I grew up in a city of about 500 households. So I just find that really, really interesting. And I just wanted to commend the council, the planning commission, and our city staff. That's a lot of work. And there's a reason why people look tired. And I just wanted to express my appreciation and once again say that Payson is obviously an amazing place and people understand that and want to be here. So we have the opportunity in the near future to welcome almost 4,000 new households to our community. So
Robert, what was the 2,000 figure?
I have this for you.
Oh, okay.
But so approved already is 1,205.
Right.
Potential.
That's from 219.
From 2019.
Yeah,
that's correct.
Okay.
And potential unit count at build out 2,564. So the other thing that I wanted to just mention briefly, appreciate the chamber being here. Melissa was with us as well this morning, and that was one specific thing that we requested is to have an invite list. So she's working on that specific invite list. So thank you, because yeah, we want to welcome these new businesses to our community. So
thank you. Any other staff like to come forward? Councilmember Hyatt, anything you'd like to bring to the council? Councilmember Carter.
Caroline, where is Carl? Oh, there you are. I just wanted to mention probably just 3 or 4 or 5 Payson City residents here, but Carl and his staff do a lot of hard work up at the ball fields and the pool and everything. And those that he has working for him work real hard. It was mentioned to me about a bathroom that the toilet was shattered at the ballpark. So you know that kids are out in the middle of the night and they figured that you had a camera, right?
At the South Pavilion, I don't think we have cameras.
Oh, okay.
But we did get pictures from the North Pavilion.
Good. And they did it with their skateboards. And so, you know, you wish you had a lot of parents here that you could say something about, do you know where your kids are? Do you know what's happening with them? It's scary, I think. I ride by the skate park 2 or 3 times a day, and I've got a group that I had a run-in with, And if they're up there, which they usually are, they all turn and give me the stink eye as I pass, and I give it right back. That might be what was wrong with my finger. I don't know. I'm just kidding. But anyway, we really need to watch these kids. And if anybody knows through the grapevine of any kids that have destroyed anything, it'd be nice to pass that message on to our chief and let him handle it. We love that ballpark up there. It's beautiful. And we don't want it destroyed by some mean boys that, anyway, or girls. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Christensen.
All right. Well, thank you. A couple of items here. I'm probably beating a dead horse with this one, but I'm going to bring it up again and again and again. Being on the 4-Bay committee, I had the opportunity to go up there with my family last weekend and to ride around and just to enjoy the beautiful flowers that are up there, the serenity of it all, the UTVs driving around, kicking up dust. Oh, wait, they're not supposed to be there. So I think that is really a gem, and it's a quiet little sanctuary, quiet place. I mean, I could see the concerns with the trails getting beat up by different things, but hey, that's half the challenge. You know, the horse hooves are there, so be it. You ride through it. But I think we should really be pushing to get that annexed so that we can police it. And I'm still a firm believer that in today's society, sometimes we need to have that mental wellness, that mental health aspect for our police officers. And I think that would be an ideal place for them to patrol once a week on a regular basis up there, down our trail systems, get a nice e-bike, give them the opportunity, give us a police presence in those areas that is going to say, hey, you don't ever know when those cops are going to come through. And they just go for a leisurely bike ride. Yeah, they get a couple of hours on that bike a week. And I think it would really boost their mentality, their morale. And I know there's issues. Well, how do they arrest anybody, or how do they do this? Well, I mean, we can get back up in wherever we need to. And it's budget season, so keep that in mind, Dave. The trail, Jill's wandered off on us. She's chatting outside, but I know that they're doing a feasibility study for the trail up Payson Canyon. And as I was riding my bike down the mountain, I came all the way down from Maple Dell. It was fun. I was a little nerve-wracking because I had my 13-year-old son with me, and it would have been nice to have been off of that road, to be able to enjoy the canyons, those trails. I even wondered that as we do that trail plan, maybe plan a little bit wider one so that the downhill, you have a downhill bike trail that is separated from everything else. Kind of give somebody, hey, that's their area, maybe to help avoid potential crashes. I know that the one up Provo Canyon is used a lot. They'll get up there and they'll ride their roller blades or whatever else it might be up to there and utilize those parks. So it's our asset. It's a great adventure up there. I think we need to capitalize on it. Shout out. I was really grateful for the early water. I know it didn't seem like we really needed it, but I'm here to tell you that if I hadn't had 2 weeks to get my sprinklers back in order, I'd be in trouble when it finally got hot. So I was grateful to have the water. And I know that there's one here on the agenda. So I'm worried about duplexes and townhouses in infill areas. So as planning and zoning, just kind of keep that in mind, that we are a small town and people like that small town feel. And I think if every available lot is filled with 2 or 3 other kinds of houses, more condensed, it's going to feel like they're all sporadic. And that's my insight. And I do know that Evolve is here to discuss one on the old green church lot, but this actually more for home. Got somebody trying to do it right up over the top of my own house right now. So, and then businesses, the planning department left me again, but as those businesses are planned, what we've got coming in,
Jill's in the back. corner.
Jill's in the back there. The Robert's the one yeah, he ran off on us. Roll call here. Oh. Well, yeah, but he was giving us the list of the building permits. I'd like to see those businesses that are coming and where they're at, and that people seem way more concerned and interested to know if, you know, Popeye's Chicken's still coming, rumors of Panda Express, what happened there, where is it at, what do we got going on? That might be more of a Brian thing here in the future, but that was my 5 minutes of fame, and I appreciate it. So thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you, Brett. I just have one item. If you'll notice, we're short two tonight. We've already excused the mayor on business on behalf of the city, but we're also short a council member. And I'd just like to go on record, as I'm sure the rest of the council would, in thanking Brian. No, I'm not going for Hewlett. He resigned. That was the word I was trying to come up with. Brian resigned a couple of weeks ago for something better. He wanted to continue to help the city in a capacity that would cause a conflict of interest. And I salute him for making that tough decision. And we're going to miss his expertise up here very, very much. I've become to rely on him very much. And I just want to go on record saying how much I appreciate what Brian has done for Payson City in the capacity of a council member, and look forward to the successes he'll bring to Payson City in the future as our economic development director.
Ditto.
Okay. Dave, you have anything? No. Okay. Then moving on to action D, action items. Item number 1, we have a resolution on the Parks, Arts, Recreation, and Culture, the Park Tax Committee's recommendation for the funding of projects this year. Carl? Or, oh, yeah, come on up.
Tara Macon, member of the Park Fund Committee, I should say. We have been doing lots of good things for the city of Payson, and are so grateful for this income that comes in from people shopping in Payson. So we would like to present the recommendations for 2022, but I'd like to recap what we did in 2021, just so we remember. The Dry Creek Trail completion was funded and is being worked on, and it actually is really great. I've walked it a couple of times, and I think people are really going to enjoy that. While I was going down the trail, there was about 5 or 6 other people on the trail at the same time. And so I think people will really enjoy being able to go down that little hidden path. The Hillman Field softball fourplex, we added some backstop extensions, and that keeps the public safe from all those foul balls that get hit. The Hillman Field softball fourplex batting cages, those are on the west side, and those will be super great so the kids don't practice hitting into the fences. The Payson Visitors Center, we added a digital kiosk and a pamphlet holder. And so when people come through and stop at the Teat Neat, they can go in and watch the Payson, Utah video that was done last year. And they can click on different links to see what they can do while they're in Payson and some of our historical information. But Teat Neat fountains, we funded the redo and the upgrade so that the fountains can once again fountain and look beautiful. And then we added some dark sky walkway lighting on the north side that goes down that Rose Garden walkway. Though they should be up soon. I guess there's a supply shortage of lighting. The Payson Civic Corral, they added some music storage lockers for their huge amount of music that they hold for the corral. And they built a room in the city center basement, and it has a door that locks. So, and then got it out of Mr. Dahlquist's garage. The Hewish Performing Arts Center, we provided some money so they could purchase rigging for lights on their stage. And we as a committee actually went and toured the Hewish, and it's I grew up here and loved going to the Hewish, and a bunch of us grew up there. So it's interesting to see what's happening, and hopefully that can go through. Payson City Band, we bought some outdoor chairs and some rolling carts so that they can put the chairs on and roll it to the bear cage. Payson Historic Main Street, we got some outdoor speakers that hang on the light post on Main Street, and they play music during Christmas and other events, and they could also hold like a dance down there. Anyway, they're pretty nice speakers, and we added some more lighting for Christmas. Payson Community Theater, we gave them money so they could purchase a light board, speaker stands, and an Apple computer that controls all of that. The People Preserving Petite Meat, we gave them money so that they could put railings for the stairs that go down to the basement where the library used to be, curtains and shades for the north windows, and they're actually really nice and beautiful. And then Payson Main Street flower baskets, we funded the installation and the purchase of the baskets down Main Street, if you all remember that. And everybody, I got rave reviews. And I think it really added to our community.
Aren't those reusable, or are they going back?
They are reusable. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
The flowers didn't survive.
They might have if you put them in the right spot.
All right. So this year for the mini grant applications, the Payson Civic Chorale, they want to augment their existing music copies and match music with the Nebo Philharmonic Orchestra for their 40th year celebration. And that is when they add new members, they have to buy new pieces depending on what parts they sing, and then to match it with the orchestra. So they requested $5,000, and we recommend that they be awarded $5,000. The Payson City Band is requesting $900, and this is to create spiral bound books of music. They purchased the license to the music, and then instead of having the original music, they make copies and put them in spiral bound books, and they take those instead of the originals. And so we would like to recommend $900 be awarded to them. The Utah Live Concerts Foundation, they have provided a concert in the Memorial Park, and they have lots of different bands, startup bands. It's actually quite well attended, and people really have enjoyed that. But they've asked for $2,900, and they broke it down, but overall it's to support the cost of hosting the event at Memorial Park. And we recommend they be awarded $2,900. People Preserving Petite Meat have asked to upgrade their marquee sign to LED. The one there is lit, but it's made of plastic, and the letters go in and out, so they slide them in and out. Mm-hmm. But they would like to upgrade to LED, and it's really nice. It's encased in brick. Switch out the plastic with an LED. They have a bid for $38,476.59, and we recommend that they be awarded that money. Payson Community Theater, they weren't specific this year. They just asked that they support the operations of Payson Community Theater. They asked for $20,000, and we recommend that you grant them $10,000. The Hewish Performing Arts and Cultural Education Center, they are trying to get the sideshow opened, and for the last few years, we have been awarding them money that is getting them to that goal. And we went and toured it and saw their end goal for that front part. And they asked for $50,000. This would upgrade their HVAC system and the equipment in it and get the front finished. And we recommend that you award them $45,000. And the total award for that, for all of these mini grants for the community performing arts is $102,276.59.
Any discussion, council?
I just have one. It seems like that there are one or two that we donate to every year. And And it would be nice if we could find someone else that could use the money too, you
Mhm.
know,
These are the only,
I know.
I think we advertise it.
we do advertise that these are the
Yeah.
ones that were applied
Mhm.
Yeah.
for the grants.
Yeah, I know.
I did want to mention one. We did have one that the committee reviewed, and I should mention the committee is here. This is Tara Macon, Kenton Phillips, Colleen Wilson, and Richard Fillerup. Devin Weaver is not here tonight, but we appreciate their time and efforts in the review as well as the second meeting as well in the tours. But Utah Metropolitan Ballet did apply for a grant for $30,000. Most of their funding is from Provo and Orem, and they're housed in Provo and Orem.
Yeah.
They did say the people from Payson could come and enjoy their show, basically in summary. And the committee didn't feel that was enough of an influence in Payson to consider them. So,
And that was all of the applicants.
yes.
That was all of them.
That was all of them.
Like we, for this. the dog waste and the replace-
That's
I
the
looked
next
at-
screen.
Yeah.
So these are the mini grants, and these go to just organizations that are 501c3 in Payson.
Yep.
And then 20% of the fund from the year is awarded to them. This is what they've asked for. We've encouraged some of these groups to ask for more money, but this is what they've asked for. And so that's what we can award them.
I have a question also.
Uh-huh.
So we have two that requested more than we're giving them.
Correct.
What was your decision on that?
So we as a committee have felt with, you're probably talking about the PCT.
Well, I
They-
see, yeah, support of PCT. I guess I'd like to know specifically what we're supporting.
Right.
But second of all, seems like if they need 50,000 for the HVAC at Hewish. But I'm not second guessing. I just want to know what your thinking was.
Correct. So let's talk about the PCT. Usually when they submit their grant, they're very specific, and in the guidelines in the bylaws of the fund, it says they're supposed to be specific with individualized items that they're looking for and bids on the items.
Yes.
This year, they submitted $20,000 and just said support operations of PCT.
Okay.
So last year they asked directly for a light board.
Right.
You know, every year they've done that, but this year they just said that, and we don't know where that money's going.
I think I'm on board with Bob. I don't know. I mean, it's your decision. We'll support it, but I'd rather give them 5 and 50 for the Hewish if that's where it needs to be, if they haven't justified where it's going. But at the same time, I don't want to see the PCT flop because they're short $5,000, because it's part of Onion Days and it's something we all look forward to. And I just, yeah.
But I think in fairness, I've filled out several of these grants over the years, and it's pretty explicit what is asked for.
Right.
And
They're not being explicit.
So maybe to answer a few things on this mini grant side, it is to help with operations as well for these performing arts and cultural arts. So in fairness, to ask for operations is part of the policy for
Sure.
this. Secondly, the amount of money that we have is contingent on the document too. We want to award 20%, and we're using actually a 10% contingency that was voted on to use. So this is also kind of the allotment of money we have.
Yep.
It's not like we can just say, oh, they want more and we're going to give more. We're trying to use the budget as well that we have. Is that fair?
Yeah,
way
no,
to
and
say that? So they took the total amount of money that they could use in mini grant application, and through actually many hours of discussion, decided this was the way they wanted to award that. And of course, council can still award that how they see fit.
I'm not one to want to undo your homework, but I'm with Brad. If we could rob 5 from PCT and get the HVAC done at Hewish. So I guess, Carl, what were you guys thinking on the, did they have an actual bid?
They have an actual bid from, I can't remember.
There was an HVAC company that was
Okay,
discussing that. And
yeah.
then they also they are raising funds constantly for their
Right.
program.
They have a donation in kind. They're
Right.
getting a carrier rooftop unit for like dealer cost.
And I guess I'm gonna speak for some of the committee there to, that as they spoke and discussed, they said, well, if they need 50 to do it, I think they could find 5,000 to
Okay.
do it on their
No,
own.
that's all I wanted to know.
Is that-
If you feel confident that they can cover their own bases, then I can support that.
Yeah, I can too.
They're
I'm-
trying to.
Knowing your homework, I'm
We
I'm
went
grateful that
toward
you
it
spent the
and-
time to.
and Went
to
with
vet it.
Richard and Carrie. And toured it up, down, basement and everything. We saw their vision, and UVU is close, hopefully getting on board where they will have classes there and do some performing in the theater, and they're hoping funds will come from that. But
Wonderful.
to get them started, they need the HVAC on the sideshow.
Yep.
And then, of course, we bought the mirrors and the chairs and the lighting that's all sitting there waiting to go. They just have to finish that front, and then they could rent that out. And they're hoping to put in some bifolding doors that they could have a performing band and then have the street closed and have it be like a street performance, close the street kind of a deal. So we felt good in awarding them 45,000, just hopefully that they can finish that and open it and get some things happening in the downtown area. I know we've been focused on that as a city
Yes.
council. So
Yes.
that's our recommendation.
I mean, this is the 5th time I've seen these and they come through all the time, but it would be good for me with the Hewish in mind. If the powers that be, it'd be nice to know what they still have to get accomplished. A checklist. Hey, this is what we've got to be 100% functioning.
Yep.
Not that we're going to fund that,
Mhm.
but we've felt like for 5 years, we're throwing 50 cents at them and it's barely enough to keep the lights on.
Yeah.
Not to get moving forward. And
That's kind of the way we felt as a committee too, that we would like to just give them a bulk amount and get
Up and
that
running.
front
Get-
finished.
get it moving
And then
on.
hopefully they
And I
can
agree.
start supporting things that would bring in more money. So that was our
And our
recommendation.
new revitalization downtown is going to bring that. And I think it could be a real asset
Yes.
combination there. So
Yeah, and it's
that-
historical. It's really neat. All right, the next one is Payson City Projects. We have recommended the Dry Creek Trail be finished. We recommended 300,000 over 2 years. So this year we will finish our $150,000 to have that Dry Creek Trail finished. Dog waste stations. These, the city asked for $10,000, but we feel more comfortable with 3.
I actually wrote this one. I shot for the stars.
Yeah.
So I'm perfectly fine with that, just to tell you. But with this, it kind of does cause a problem and I don't know how to solve that. So I'm going to bring it up right now while we're talking about it. Dogs are not allowed in our parks or on our trail system. So if we approve dog waste stations, we have to modify that code to
We did
allow that.
discuss that.
And this is just one of the steps and we didn't want one without the other. So they need to run concurrent with each other. But I'm in favor of just the trail system, not our public park system. But anyway, just my little caveat there. Sorry to interrupt, but
Probably a discussion for a different agenda, but
it is. Well, I don't want to approve it if it's not something that the council.
maybe we
isn't-
can approve it contingent upon council decision.
Yeah, that's
And
all I
not-
want.
Not dispersing the funds until
Right.
we have that.
Well, I know that we did this with the dog park last time.
Mhm.
And the dog park fell and collapsed and we weren't able to actually use it and we weren't able to reallocate the funds. And so that's where it kind of in part.
We did reallocate the funds. That's where the flowers down Main Street came from.
Perfect.
Some.
Right.
Back into
And
the
which is
pot.
fine. Just trying to make sure we're all on the same page with that one.
So
So
we priced them, the dog waste stations are about $200. So if you recommend that, they can put them, Wes can put them where he deems fit. Or if you choose not to do that, that's fine too. Memorial Park, the trail replacement from 300 South to 200 South, that's the asphalt that goes right through the middle of the park. And so the bid is 46,200 and we'd like to recommend to award that, and that would replace that and make Memorial Park
Is that back with asphalt or is it concrete?
concrete.
is it wider?
It might be a touch wider.
Yeah, because
it's not all of the trail though.
Yeah, it is wider.
no, and I've kind of noticed that as we have events there and things like that, they bring the event tents right up to the thing, and there's no room to walk, there's no room for lines. And I know that we don't want a 3-lane highway through the middle of the park, but at the same time, yeah. But yeah, so just my 2 cents there.
So the builder hat on me comes out with concrete.
It's very
Are
expensive.
we pouring it thick enough that if we do, we're gonna have a lot of traffic on that with vendors and what have you, is if we pour a 4-inch, I'm not so sure it will hold up with trailers and just playing that devil's advocate.
Bid that 4-inch, but I'll check.
Uh,
Yeah, you're right. That's gotta be a little.
That concerns me a little bit with heavy trailers.
A little bit more in the flex, but.
In talking with Wes as well and Tracy, they may be able to do some prep work and save money and move to the 6-inch. So that's something I think.
Yeah, I think
Plus the price of all of this may change by the time we even do it.
I'll guarantee you. it
And
will.
so I would say we do $46,200 worth of sidewalk.
Okay.
If whatever that lands.
And we're not gonna specify concrete or asphalt. You guys make it work.
Yeah. The nice thing about concrete is if a roof comes up, we can just saw cut that section.
Yep.
You know, I don't need to touch. That's been the direction we've been going, but that's a good point on the thickness.
Thank you.
All right, Kiwanis Park, there is a great disc golf range up there. I don't know what else to call it, but they would like some tee boxes and some signage. And that would, in front of, they would have the spot where you stand to throw the Frisbee into the disc golf, and that should be cement. So they're asking $23,140, and we recommend that you award that so that that can be finished. It's actually heavily used.
It is.
So
Yeah, it's nice.
yeah, that will just like make it super nice. All right, 4Bay. There's some nice restrooms there from a grant that Payson City received, but we would like to put some solar lights in those. The tools for trail maintenance for all those people that are working really hard. And then 2 picnic tables and or 4 benches, depending on how much they cost. We've discussed the 4 benches, and there was some hesitancy about putting benches along the trail for people, like some people didn't want people hiking there and sitting.
We gotta have a place for somebody to carve their name in.
Yeah. So we said,
I think if you got the benches up in there high enough, people aren't going to go in there for a leisure sit. That's where somebody that's going to sit down needs to rest.
Yeah.
Give them an opportunity somewhere to sit. I know there's one picnic table up in there somewhere, but.
Yeah. So we're giving leeway. We also recommended 2 picnic tables, whichever one. The 2 picnic tables would be over the bridge from the creek and put up over there. They'd be more on the rural spot.
Mhm.
And the requested amount was $8,000, but we recommend $11,000 be awarded to supplement the cost of the picnic tables. They're a little bit more expensive than the benches, so that should cover it.
Is anybody here with 4Bay?
Devin,
I am.
Well,
Are you on
I am
4Bay?
too. I guess,
No,
you
I'm
know,
on
when
the
we had the
committee.
ribbon cut up there, we talked about putting a roof, some kind of a little pavilion roof over to be out of that hot sun while you're fixing a flat tire or getting a bike ready to go. I think that would be,
I think it was recommended in the pamphlet, in the information, they denied that one.
Yeah.
It was submitted, but the committee, it was submitted for a 4-bay shade structure over the picnic table. It was $14,500.
okay.
And so we felt as a committee better about doing 2 picnic tables across the stream, the solar lights in the restroom. Why didn't we want to do the shade? Because it was so expensive.
Yeah, and they thought right now, with the budget as well, let's put the 2 tables in a shady area.
Baby
for those-
steps,
right,
maybe
that wanna
next
do
year.
that,
Yeah.
and maybe
Okay.
a small.
I know that'd been talked about pretty heavy. So
Yeah,
yeah, we'll do this year and maybe
Yeah.
that next year.
absolutely.
Okay.
Resubmit it. the softball field fourplex. So when Payson City had the new baseball field, they're baseball fields, they're not softball. Baseball fields finished, they added the remote control links for the lights, which is super nice for the Parks and Rec because they can turn off the lights from their phone. Right now they have to come down and manually turn those off when the umpire calls them and says, I'm done. So for $12,000, that would install a remote control link at the softball field fourplex. And we thought that was a good use of money.
We would probably save that much in power because the lights do stay on a little longer than there's people there.
And they can be scheduled by the computer. And
Sure.
set.
Labor as well.
Yeah, labor as well. Okay.
Anything else? Do you want me to talk about what else was submitted?
Yeah, we could talk about the other two.
Okay, so by the pickleball courts, that Patini Creek was improved and beautified, but apparently the rocks are sliding down. The kids are in it. They're building dams. It's become kind of a hazardous area. So anyway,
yeah, if you go watch them, it kind of scares me because I've seen some kids fall in it, you know, and then they're playing with the rocks and they're taking them out. And their parents are
It's probably Brett's kids.
I have my own at my house. They don't play there. No, I know when I originally put it in there, I wanted it was kind of more concrete anyway. This is just what they did. But
so there was a recommendation submitted that lining the creek with shotcrete. And we talked about it as a committee, and it's really pretty the way it is. Like it was beautified for a reason, and shotcrete just looks like shotcrete. And so we put that on hold and would prefer like larger boulders be placed in there, like a rock wall retaining wall, and little, you know, you could put the little rocks interspersed, but it's really a beautiful feature of that. And shotcrete just is not going to do that justice. So we did not award that at this time. Okay. Also, the raised planter curbing on 8th South and Main, when they did the junior baseball fields on that, when they did 8th South, it's kind of a steep slope and the rock fill and stuff is falling, and they wanted $4,800 for that, but we tabled that for another time. We felt like these projects that have been recommended would be the most bang for our buck at this time. And we were happy with what was submitted and what we've recommended. So that's our recommendation for this year. This fund is doing such great things in Payson. We're working right now on creating signs and plaques that will go on the things that we've been awarded in Payson, so that people will recognize where their money's going and recognize that it's a great thing for Payson. So that's our recommendations for 2022.
Okay, any other discussion? I'd first of all thank the committee for your time and your diligence on going to and visiting the sites and doing your vetting process. Thank you very much. I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the Park Tax Committee's recommendation for the funding of the projects with the contingency on the, do we need that in there about the dog waste stations? That the dog waste station approval is based upon whether or not the city council approves for canines in city parks or on the trail system. I better get that right. Do you want me to start over? Okay, trail system, not parks. We still don't want dogs in the parks, just the trail system.
I'll second it.
Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, or no, this is a roll call vote. Councilmember Christensen.
Yes.
Councilmember Carter.
Yes.
Councilmember Hyatt.
Yes.
And Councilmember Prosgaard, yes. Once again, thank you guys for your hard work. Thank you. Moving on to resolution number 2, the bird scooters contract. Dave, you're up.
Council, this has been something that's been worked on for a while. This is a scooter company that wants to put some scooters. You see them in some of the bigger cities and around cities now. And we've been working on a contract that would hopefully be beneficial to the city. It's only a 6-month contract, but it can be renewed for 3 additional 6 months if it goes well. And if it doesn't go well, you know, we can terminate the contract. So it's kind of a test area. They're wanting to put these scooters in several cities. And so the contract before you is to allow them to put their scooters in Payson for up to 6 months. And then it could be, if it goes well, it'll automatically renew for another 1.5 years. And then we'd have to renegotiate. But I don't know if you have any questions on that, but.
These are the folks we visited with down in St. George, if I'm not mistaken, isn't it?
Yes, they were down. They had a booth down there, and I'm not sure. Sean, are you online?
Yeah, I'm right here. Hi, Council.
So if you have any questions for him, he represents the Bird Company.
Well, we're excited that you're wanting to come to Payson.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're really excited. It was good to see some of you guys down in St. George. And for those of you who have yet to meet, my name is Sean McGrath, and I'm with Bird Micromobility. And exactly like Dave said, you know, we'd love to run this on a pilot program, completely free to the city. And then at the end of the 6 months, if it's something the city likes and we see ridership as we fully expect to do, we can extend that for another 18 months, 12 months, whatever the city feels comfortable with. Last year, we were in 18 cities in Utah, and all 18 decided to re-up. So we know the ridership is there in the state, and we know this is something that can work, and Payson seems like a perfect spot for us to enter, and we're excited to do so.
Wonderful. I have one question before we go to a vote. We're not reinventing the wheel, Payson City. I'm sure our attorneys had the opportunity to review the legalities of this. Yeah. My question of reviewing the legalities is liability insurance. Is Payson City at all liable, since we approved the placement of these, for somebody getting injured?
No, and it's a great question, and I've gone over that with Jason. So the city is named as additional insured on our policies. So unless there's gross negligence on the city's behalf, which in over 500 cities we've never had yet, knock on wood, but the city will be indemnified through Bird. So it's all in the contract that I've gone over with Jason the last month or 6 weeks or so, and that's all in there. So the city will not be held liable for anything. And a rider, when they sign up for Bird and jump on, signs a waiver saying that they're responsible to ride in a mature, responsible way as well.
Is there an age limit?
Is there what?
Age limit?
There's some rules.
Yeah.
Of rental, meaning you got to be able to swipe a credit card.
Sean, the question was whether there was an age limit on who can ride.
Yeah, so we start the age limit at 18. So you need to show a valid ID or driver's license to even sign up. And that's just for safety and liability. You know, we don't want 10 and 11-year-olds riding these things around town, maybe unsupervised or anything. So it is 18 and above. And as you sign up and add that app and payment information on your phone, there is a required picture of the front and back of a ID.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Jason is comfortable with this. He would generally have presented this. He just had a family issue. He had to leave town for a week.
Okay. So that brings another question. We do not allow motorized scooters on our park trail system. Is that correct? On our trail systems? Or are these allowed on the system?
You know, that's a good question. I believe they are not allowed, but we'd have to review that.
We need to review that, since they're going to be placed here shortly. And
that was actually discussed as well. So we're able to geo-zone certain areas out. And I believe the trail was one of those that was discussed. So we can make it a no ride zone, and we can also make it like a certain speed zone. So these things average about 14, 15 miles per hour. If there's certain areas in town that we want to limit that to 7 or 8, we have the capability of doing that. So
we've still got your commitment that you're looking towards bikes someday also, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We're, you know, in any city that the demand is there, once the supply works itself out and we can start getting these things in a little bit quicker, we're planning on rolling them out into a lot of cities around Utah and around the US. So it should be exciting.
Okay. All right, any further discussion? Then I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the contract with Bird Scooters.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
This is a roll call vote. Council Prosgaard, yes. Councilmember Hyatt,
Yes.
Councilmember Carter,
Yes.
Councilmember Christensen.
Yes.
Motion approves. Thank you so much. We look forward to you coming to our community.
Thanks a lot, everybody. Enjoy your night and we'll talk soon.
You betcha.
Bye.
Now I know why the mayor's sober clapped when he gets done at night after council meetings. You're keeping me on my toes, Brett.
Somebody has to.
Yeah, I know. Okay, let's move on to item number 3, request for use of an RMO 1 overlay to allow twin homes associated with Evolved Twin Home Estates located at 110 South, 300 West. For members of the community that are here, that is the old Green Park Ward site.
Are you going to present 3 and 4?
Yes, if we can run those concurrently, that would be appreciated.
Absolutely. And item number 4, preliminary plat approval of the Evolved Twin Home Estates at 110 South, 300 West.
Thank you for the opportunity. As you mentioned, this is the Evolved Twin Homes Estates Overlay and Subdivision Approval. To give you a little bit of perspective, this is the site. It's the, I guess people refer to it as the old Green Church site. What is it, about a block and a half away from here, something like that. So really close to City Hall. This is the layout of what the lots would look like. That looks a little small on your screen there, but you can see the larger lots would be the single family homes. And then the twin homes would be against, what is that?
Second South.
300 West.
So it's 3 twin homes, 3 single family homes.
Yes, so the twins are going to be.
They face east.
There we go. So the twin homes are along this side here. You can see with my cursor. This is 300 West right there. Oops. So that's the configuration. And then the single family homes are these 3 here. This is a rendition of what the twin homes may look like. Very similar there too anyway. And then here's an overview here. As I said before, it's a 9-lot subdivision, 3 single family homes and 6 total twin homes or 3 twin home units. They needed the overlay request in order to put the twin homes in the zone. And that's why that is being requested. The zoning is R275, approximately 1.53 acres. For your information, the public hearing was held at the Planning Commission on the 13th of April. There was some opposition voiced against it at that public hearing, and a motion for a negative recommendation failed at the Planning Commission before a positive recommendation, and that positive recommendation passed 4-2. So staff recommends approval of this overlay. It meets the general plan and underlying zone requirements. It meets the minimum requirements for the RMO overlay. However, this is a legislative decision, so it would be a decision by council. And whatever decisions made, staff would recommend that any pending red lines and such be part of that decision that's made, and final plat would be presented at a later date. So any questions?
I have a question. I brought this up before. I can see that the lot sizes are like 4,500, 5,000 square feet. But I know we've talked about smaller lots with bigger houses on it, or even smaller houses. That way we're kind of meeting what we would like to see, more houses instead of townhomes. it's a different, I mean, it's different. We haven't really seen it here in Payson, but they're doing it in a lot of the other cities. But town, you know, homeownership is really special to people. And townhomes, they get in them and then they want to get out of them as fast as possible. I don't know, I just see townhomes that just, they don't keep up the maintenance like the homes do.
Are these townhomes private ownership or are they a rental unit? Private ownership, sold individually?
Twin
Twin
homes.
homes.
Duplexes.
Yeah, would you state your name?
Yeah, I know, but they're the same.
My name is Joe Wilkins with Evolve Building and Development. Yeah, so I think I recognize your concern. And as we planned out this project, we were very careful to do what we felt was best for the neighborhood. And when we actually would financially do better doing smaller single family homes, but you're also getting into where you start getting these smaller single family homes 2 stories high.
Yeah.
And so you're wrapped around with 2-story homes. So if we went to a single family home only, we're still going to get 8 homes. They would just be on smaller lots and taller. With the RMO 1 overlay, we can go to 3 twin homes, and they're actually a larger twin home. They're very nice homes. They're 4-bedroom.
How many square feet?
They're
2,500 each side.
each side.
So is that a basement and a main floor?
Yes. And so they'd just be ramblers.
So about 1,250 on each floor?
Yes. So they're a size where people aren't going to be excited to get out of them. You know, somebody wants to buy a twin home. These aren't going to be the cheapest ones where you get crammed in, and first time you have a child, you have to get out. They'll have yards. And the other advantage of having a twin home is you get a product that's got finished landscaping. Whereas with single family homes, it's, you know, we build a home, we sell it to somebody, it's not up to us to do it. And with the twin homes, when somebody moves in, it's a finished product. You got lawns, you got fences, you got trees and all that other stuff. And it really, in the end, it only makes a difference of 1 unit. And so I like to say when I do stuff, I visualize it in my head. And if you visualize 3 Rambler twin homes fully landscaped and 3 larger single family lots, or you could envision 8 single family homes on narrow lots that are 2 stories. And I think if you visualize it in your head, you would see that this is definitely a better product. In my opinion, some people may like to see a bunch of 2-story homes, but I don't.
Well, wouldn't they have basements though?
Yes.
That way anyway?
They have basements.
I know they do, but if you did the home, would you have a basement too?
I think he's
Yes.
referring to the houses
Well-
like over by the freeway in Spanish Fork. They look like little tiny doll houses, the tall, skinny ones.
Yes.
They do have
They do.
basements in those as well. So that would be the alternative to the twin homes, which they would meet code and wouldn't require the RMO 1.
Yeah.
overlay, right?
If we went to single family homes, it's already in the existing zoning.
But I don't like the idea of 2 stories in that neighborhood.
I don't
wouldn't
either. Doesn't
And
fit.
me,
so
this
this
makes
is
way better
probably
sense.
the best scenario
For sure.
for the neighborhood as far as keeping the neighborhood a single level
Yeah. And you
with
have
basement home.
the 3 single family lots are larger lots too. They're nice lots.
The garages, I see the corner garage. I assume there'll be a corner garage on each corner
Yes.
and then 2 double,
The center
mean,
one will have 2
two
straight in,
coming in.
but they're also
Is that a
separate.
2-car garage?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
And they're big enough that it's like when I work with my partners and we design stuff, I drive a long bed F-350. And I was like, whatever garage we build, I want to drive in it. That's 22 feet deep minimum.
I drive the same and I've been in a couple that I can't close the garage door on.
Yes, me too.
Diesel
Don't
fit.
brag that you can get in your garage.
So anyway.
You've been there.
Yeah.
Visually, this is a good opportunity to use this new zone, the overlay zone, versus just trying to stack stuff in there. It really does make the neighborhood better.
I honestly would like to see the garage on the back side of the house with those that end load like that, but I don't
You
know how that
can
would.
unload
Yeah.
them with the configuration of that property.
You could, or you can, what do you mean?
Not according to the,
No, just the ones that are straight facing. Your 2 outside ones will look like this. Your center one will be both front facing garage doors.
Mhm.
So instead of having them on the east side of the house, put the garages on the back side, but I don't know how that would.
there's no access.
logistically
The
work.
city code wouldn't allow access back there.
The garages are back.
No, it just sets them back farther from the corner is all I'm saying. So instead of them
But you're
being,
already offset on the
Yeah,
corner,
but you-
25 and 25, so.
Yeah.
And this is what the cities, we worked with the cities and this is kind of what they're
Michael,
like.
sometimes I think outside the box and you have to ignore me. So
Would you display the plat? To get the single family with the square footage they need, you can't backload those duplexes.
I'm not saying backload is what I'm saying is instead of the garage window being on the front of the house, it's actually on the back. So the living space is in the front half. So that when you come in, as you're headed down Second South and pulling into 4B, it's not 20 feet off of the end of the road of the corner. It's 32 feet off the end of the corner is all I'm trying to say. So you're just taking the garage and flip flopping it and putting it on the back side of the house so that as you're coming around that corner, you're not quite so close to the corner, but
Probably doesn't fit the floor plan.
no, you'd have to redraw the floor plan.
Yeah.
This is one of those I'm talking when I probably shouldn't be.
That
And the rest of
require-
the people in the room are used to it.
That requires starting over.
What?
That would require starting over.
Yes, yes, that would require starting over. I'm looking out there.
Okay,
Ownership though.
yeah, I know, but where's the garage on the second one?
It's right here.
It faces
So
out
this-
the end of the
This is an
building.
end unit. On the one in the middle, so you would have that mirrored with another garage on the other
Oh.
side.
I see.
So
So-
the middle one, there would be the garage right here with it fronting. This is actually a garage, but it's side load.
Yep.
Okay,
So on the middle one, it would just, the garage would face the front right here.
And the one on the north end of the lot of the plat would actually be mirrored to this one.
And you get, and you get a landscaped product when you're done also.
I like the exterior finishes of what you're proposing.
But it's close.
I like the stone or brick, whatever you decide. It's going to be masonry. Okay. Any further discussion? I would entertain a motion. Okay, on both items. All right. May I make a motion? Or would you like
So
to?
we would need a motion on the overlay first, otherwise the subdivision wouldn't work.
Okay.
Okay. I can make the motion, but I don't know how to vote based on principles, but I make a motion that we approve the RMO1 overlay to allow twin homes associated with the property on 110 South 300 West.
I'll second that. I have a motion and a second. This is a roll call vote. Councilmember Christensen.
Can I vote no when I made the motion?
I like that.
This is why I hesitated based on principles on my opening statement. I'm going to go with a no on this one.
Councilmember Carter.
yes.
Councilmember Prosgaard, yes. Councilmember Hyatt.
No.
Okay, we have a deadlock.
It fails. You have to have three.
It fails. Okay.
Where's the mayor when we need him?
The mayor is he online? He's not online, is he?
I don't think so.
Motion fails. So I don't need a motion on the second one since that didn't.
Well, so here's my problem that I'm faced with, and my dilemma is the property to the east of me is currently trying to do this exact same overlay. And I feel that it's difficult for me to vote yes when I don't want theirs where theirs is. You're on a flat piece of property. The piece of property to the east of me is 23 feet above grade on my own home. So to put a twin home on it, they look right down into my backyard.
I think
and
principle is
into
a
my
good
house.
thing, but at the same time,
At the
if there's
same-
a better plan, principle could be like the wrong thing.
I know, that's why I said I was hesitant. So
Robert's gonna speak.
Robert's going to speak. help me on this, Robert, because we can re-vote on it.
So I understand your dilemma. There's a wonderful word that we use in the planning field called context. And that's why you make individual decisions based on individual sites, because you can consider context. So if the context of one particular site makes sense, then you vote the way it makes sense. But if the context is different, you're not setting a precedent because the context is different based on individual sites. That's the reason that these particular items come to you as a council as a legislative decision. So you can make those decisions based on the context of the location, not on the precedent of the decision.
Okay, see, that does help because as I'm not opposed to these,
So
I
you
like
can-
the looks of
You
them.
can be a NIMBY at your place and you can vote for this at this.
Well, that's my problem.
That's
is
what he
it's-
just said.
He did say that, and the context is based there, and I didn't want to open myself up for legal action against me if I voted in favor one way and then the next week voted against it. And that's why I'm hesitant. I like the looks of these based upon the configuration of the lots. It seems sad to me they tore 2 houses down to make this parking lot, and then you're building the houses back. But looking at it, you can, if you tried to configure it, the lots are still going to be small. They're not super small at the size they are, but
I definitely don't want to see 2-story homes there.
I don't want 2-story homes there.
I don't, and I'm
We didn't
reminded.
tear any homes down either. It was just the church and the parking lot only.
Yeah, but there were homes there 10
No.
years ago, and the
Oh.
church tore them down and put in a
Okay.
parking lot. And then they sold the church and tore it down, and then we built the houses back in.
Okay.
Right? Am I not right? People,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what happened. You didn't tear the houses down, and I understood that. So
I'm reminded of what was presented the first time on this property. And I think this is a great
I don't remember what was the first.
compromise, multi-housing.
Oh, it was apartments.
Yeah, it was apartments. And remember that we kept hearing, and I didn't like to hear it, that for what it cost us to tear down and buy the property, this is the only way we can make money. These guys have actually come up with a product that's acceptable, residential, and not dense.
And
Not,
3 of the lots are big.
yeah, they are.
The one's 1/3 of an acre.
Yep. So I think with that strange configuration, if you go back to that plat and look at I think it's the best plat and the best use that the city can benefit from tax base wise, but yet a developer can actually sell. And I mean, obviously these guys are in business to make money or they wouldn't be standing here. And I think it's the best scenario that we're going to get, you guys, because if we approved something more than, meaning the neighborhood doesn't have 2-story there.
No.
And so I think this is the best of the world.
I think if you're willing, we could pull it back up for a revote, base it on context. and I
Legality,
can make
David,
the
what can we do?
changes.
You can do another motion.
Okay,
If you don't want to do another motion, it fails. You could reconsider at another meeting, but you have to have at least as many as you have here
right.
or more.
And I won't have that on the 1st of June.
That's going to be pretty skeleton crew on the
Yeah.
1st of June.
So if you wanted to do a new motion, you have.
All right, council, what do you want to do?
A remote.
We're in a dither here.
Are you okay if we revote on it, Teresa?
I would still like to see single houses, but.
I think these are,
That's just
to settle our minds on this. You remember how I was so adamant against the 5-story project
Well, so was I.
horribly? To settle my mind on this is so much better that we get they're all ownership homes.
Yes.
They're not a rental there. They're
What's across the street?
which way?
Homes.
To
They're all
the
single
east.
family homes
Homes on every side.
on every side.
Yeah.
There's homes.
So these are gonna like be brand new homes in an old.
In older.
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 Some
part
of them are well
town.
kept.
Which
some of
is
them are not.
what seems to be the norm right now. And
Yep.
everybody's sitting on that little tiny piece of property and they're worth a small fortune.
All right, council, I would
Same boat.
entertain, let's move on. I would entertain another motion.
All right, I'll remake the motion to allow for the RMO1 overlay to allow twin homes on 110 South, 300 West.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Council Carter. This is another roll call vote. I'll start the same way. Council Christensen.
Yes, based on context, I prefer the location of this on flat ground.
I like your finding. Council Carter.
Yes.
Council Proscard. Yes. Council Hyatt.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
I would like a motion on item number 4, approval of the preliminary plat approval of the evolved twin home estates located 110 South, 300 West.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
No, he was entertaining a motion.
Yeah, it was a motion.
I'll second it.
Ro-
Oh, you
Oh,
did,
Teresa
sorry.
did. Roll call vote, Teresa, or Council Card, or Council Hyatt. Council Proscard, yes. Council Carter
Yes.
and Council Christensen.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you.
Make those.
Sorry to make you sweat.
Make them pretty.
Part of the process. We have those plans drawn already.
Make us proud, please.
That's how they'll look. It'll be really good.
Will
Okay.
they all be the same color?
No.
No,
Thank you.
some will be purple, some will be
No.
pink.
Hot pink and bright yellow.
What the green one?
Moving on to item number 5, 6, and 7. I see Jill's name on all them.
Yes.
Jill, why don't you take the floor and walk
So-
us through them?
I will go over those. If he has difficult questions, then I'm going to turn to Travis. And Travis is going to.
Stay awake, Travis.
Questions. Okay, I'm just going to give you a quick overview. As you notice with the ordinance amendments, there are several changes proposed. Most of them are changes related to the same items. So in the zoning ordinance, we're looking at, well, actually in the subdivision and the zoning ordinance, we are looking at looking to modify our noticing requirements. We want to be more in line with state code. State code does allow the ability, there's minimum requirements we have to meet for state code, but we can be more restrictive. We could require them to be posted in a certain number of locations. We could have it be in the newspaper. There's a lot of things that we can do that are specific that we feel is beneficial to our community, but it also allows us the ability to change our notification requirements and to allow us to streamline the approval process. So that is what staff is proposing, is that we change several sections of the zoning ordinance and the subdivision ordinance to be more in line with state code. We would no longer put it in the newspaper. The only time that it's required to be in a certain number of locations of the community is if state code requires. So anyway, so there's a lot of changes that are proposed that are related to noticing in the zoning ordinance. We're also proposing some minor adjustments to the business park code as far as allowable coverage and some of those requirements. In the subdivision, the top 3 are notices, as I mentioned, allowing alternate setbacks for planned residential developments. We actually have a proposal that will be coming to you in the coming month.
Did you say month?
Yes. In the coming, well, I was going to say months, but I know that if the applicant is watching, I don't want him to think it's going to be months to get it here. So in the next month, we will be getting, there will be a proposal to you to actually implement some modified setbacks in order to allow porch forward design.
Oh.
So it's planned residential developments are a legislative approval. It's case by case, similar to what was just discussed with the overlay
Context by
zone.
context,
Context, exactly.
like
So
the word.
You're not saying that you're going to allow modified setbacks for everything, but based on the housing design, interaction with the neighborhood, maybe the streetscape, all of those things that are listed in the ordinance, it would allow you the ability to allow someone to have some modified setbacks to accommodate some additional housing product. So anyway, and then also consistency with the development guidelines. That is the last one that is listed here. The development engineer, Jonathan Knight, has put a lot of time into updating our development standards. Part of that required making some changes in the subdivision ordinance. We had some requirements in the subdivision ordinance that were either duplicated in the development guidelines, or they conflicted with the development guidelines. And the development guidelines is the core of the engineering requirements. So we're proposing to take some out of the subdivision or modify it so it is consistent. So there's some other little minor adjustments as far as just clarification and wording and things like that. But that's probably the most prominent changes that we're requesting at this time. There's still more amendments to come at future meetings, but these are the ones that we felt were necessary now so we could streamline the approval process as well as be consistent with state code. Any questions for staff?
I want to thank somebody for all the hard work, Jill and Robert, whoever else worked on this. Probably Jill camped on this one. Thank you for pitching a tent and getting this done. We've talked about this for a long time. So Jill, kudos. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
So are these like just close to what like other cities are doing?
Mm-hmm. Well, and a lot of it's just some inconsistencies in our
Just,
ordinance.
yeah,
And
just,
you know, even some feedback that we've gotten from the council over the last couple of months. We've had some work sessions and
Yeah.
you've given us some direction on how to approach developments or how to get the community involved. And we're trying to slowly, there's still more to come, like I said, but we're trying to slowly implement those as we have time, following the direction of the city council.
okay. Thank you, Jill. Any other discussion? Then can we do it all in one if we list each one, or do you want a separate? Okay, separate. Item number 5, I will accept a motion on ordinance Title 19 zoning amendments 2.
I'll make a motion on the ordinance amendments to Title 19, which is zoning, that we allow it,
We approve it.
approve it, I mean, sorry.
Okay. I have a motion, second by Council Member Hyatt. Roll call vote, starting with Council Member Hyatt.
Yeah.
Council Member Proscard, yes. Council Carter.
Yes.
Council Christensen.
Yes.
Item 5 pass. Item number 6, ordinance amendments to Title 20 on subdivisions. I will accept the motion for that.
I move that we approve the ordinance amendments to Title 20 for subdivisions.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Council Member Carter. Roll call vote. I'll start with Council Christensen.
Yes.
Council Carter.
Yes.
Council Proscard, yes. Council Hyatt.
Yes.
Item number 6 pass. Item number 7, ordinance amendments to the Payson City Development Guidelines. I will accept the motion.
I'll make a motion that we accept the amendments to the Payson City Development Guidelines.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Council Member Hyatt. Roll call vote again. Council Member Proscard, yes. Council Member Carter.
Yes.
Council Member Hyatt.
Yes.
Council Member Christensen.
Yes.
And finally, item number, that's it.
That is it. And now
We keep
Kim-
going, Jill, if you got more
Well,
up
no,
there.
And now Kim's just going to stand up and she's going to change all the numbering.
Item number 8, Dave, amendments to the Payson City fee schedule. We're going to table that, but I would like to say, Kathy, that updated one that you handed me, was your intent to update the fee schedule or just what you had done earlier or today? And I had a previous copy of it. Okay.
So council, we did not send this in the packet. We were still working on it. I've talked to most of you. Part of the tentative budget that we approved last meeting was to have rate increase on our utility rates. As we talked with most of you, and I thought it was a good idea because we don't have our budget hearing until August. But the thought was to have a public hearing, set a public hearing for June. We did talk about June 1st, but it sounds like we may not have a quorum. Or Brad, I don't know if you can get online on the 1st.
I should be able to get online. It's a deadhead run. It's 56 hours in the car, but I should be landed with internet access.
Okay. And not so much for this, because I think we can set this public hearing for the second meeting in June, and that will work fine. The first meeting in June, we've advertised for those that are interested in being on the council to replace Brian Hewlett. And we have to interview him on that day. So if we could at least have a quorum, we can do the interviews. As far as this item, I propose that we just set a public hearing for the second meeting in June and just hit those issues on the utility rates head on.
I'm fine with that. Can we approve those rates after the public hearing that night?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's critical in good faith with our bonding company and those that were working on the sewer to know that that's approved before the budget's approved.
Yep. I think that would be great. And it gives the public a reason, an ability
Chance
to come in.
respond.
And then they can also come in on the public hearing when we do the truth and taxation. So I thought it was a great idea that was brought up by you all. And but I would ask that this be tabled tonight.
Okay. Then let's go ahead and set the public hearing for the second council meeting of June.
Yeah, and that would be the 15th. The 15th.
15th.
Yep.
Okay. And I would entertain a motion to table item number 8.
I'll make that motion that we table item number 8, amendments to the Payson City fee schedule.
The motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Motion, seconded by Councilmember Hyatt. Roll call vote. Councilmember Carter.
Yes.
Councilmember Christensen.
Yes.
Councilmember Hyatt.
Yes.
Councilmember Prosgaard. Yes. All right. Guess what? We're down to the last one. Item number 9, ordinance adoption of the recodified Payson City Code. Here goes all of Jill's numbers. Kim?
First.
Yeah.
They go with this recodification.
Mayor Pro Tem and Council. So staff has been working on the recodification of all the titles of the city code. So we started this process back, I think we actually started in 2020, the end of 2020. Wow. So we solicited for proposals. We got 3 proposals. Go ahead, Dave. Sorry, I had this set up and it's not working. Staff compared the 3 proposals and the costs. We finally signed an agreement with Municode. It's the same company that's hosting our website. Mm-hmm. So we got a little bit of discount doing that. So they recodified 24 titles. We have an ordinance drafting tool that comes with the program. It has a history tool. So you know when something, puts a little history marker in and when something changes. And then it stores the ordinances so people can actually go back and look at the history. So the rest of the process, just so you know, this is not a legal review. A legal review, they would make all kinds of changes. It's just codifying the code. So titles have been combined. One of the big ones was the utilities. So all the utilities, water, PI, sewer, are all in one title. The chapters were reorganized and the sections as well. Missing references have been corrected, but nothing's been changed that was substantive. So if that were to have been done, we would have had to bring that to you as an amendment first and then gone through that process. A little side note, the agreement also came with a program called Munidocs, which is a document library, and it contains minutes, budgets, ordinances, the rest of those items there. And I just want you to know that all of the city council minutes back to April 12th of 1853 are online, so people can actually go look at those if they wanted. So that was kind of fun.
Wow.
Did you find the digital copies of that 1853 meeting?
What? Yeah, they're all scanned.
No, I said,
in.
did you find the digital copy of that?
Digital. They're all scanned in. So
wow.
If you want to go look at that.
Wonderful.
So our results now, we have 15 titles. Go ahead, Dave. We can create ordinances now through the program. So once we create the ordinance, if it's approved, then we just click a button and it'll all make the corrections and we don't have to kind of work through that. So there are some standard features. Any reference to the Payson City Code is called PCC. It's an acronym. All the numbering, the titles, the chapters, sections, paragraphs are all the same. The Utah code references are all the same. Sometimes we had Utah code annotated. Sometimes it said just Utah code. Sometimes it said UCA. So all of that is the same. We have source documents and history notations. And the best part is it's completely searchable online on any device. So people can search on their phone or a laptop or whatever. So if you have any questions, if you have any legal questions, you'll have to ask Dave because Jason's not here.
It's a really good, this has been needed for a long time. And people get on the website, they can search. It's been harder to access our ordinances.
Yep.
It's a good thing. It's been a long time coming, but I think it's going to be a great thing for us.
And one thing that's great is when you do a search, it searches all the titles, where before you'd have to like go to a title and search and go to a title and search. So that's really good.
Great work.
I'll tell you a funny thing for the minutes, because there was a question that came up about somebody saying they had water rights that they purchased back in 1930.
Did you find it?
And I went through all the minutes of 1930. And no, I couldn't find anything on it, but I did find something, and Brad maybe get a chuckle out of this, because about 4 or 5 years ago, the police came to this city, and that's when Brad started. And they wanted to purchase a motorcycle to help with traffic. And we didn't adopt it. That was the request. As I was reading through all those 1930 minutes, there was a request to buy a motorcycle by the police to help with traffic. In 1930.
92 years and you still don't have
And
it.
the council did approve it back then, so I think we had a motorcycle back then.
Wow.
You said, well, it was approved in 1930 and there's no record of it, so we'll go ahead and purchase it now. You allocated the same budget you would have gotten in 1930. Enjoy that tire.
It was funny.
Well, there again, thank you, staff. That is bringing us out of the doldrums of searching forever to where we're. Yeah, it's going to be great. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Any further discussion? Then I would entertain a motion for ordinance.
We have to do that, right?
Yes.
I'll make a motion that we adopt the recodification of Payson City Code and digitization of it.
Well, I'll second that thing
Really fast. This is another roll call vote. My gosh,
Why are they all roll call votes?
You're just putting me to the test.
Oh, I was wondering why the change happened.
Councilmember Christensen.
Aye.
Councilmember Carter.
Aye.
Councilmember Hyatt.
Yes.
And Councilmember Proscard. Yes, and thank you.
Can I make the next one?
Yep.
Yes, you may.
Can I make a motion that we adjourn?
Have a motion. And I don't see a roll call vote. All
Aye.
in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you, council.